What's poppin', my one seers? How's it going? How's your week going so far? Hope this message finds you well and that you're having a cool day. I'm currently keeping cool with a little fan hitting me directly. Additionally, it's about 6:30 as I'm recording this, so it's the golden hour, which is why the image looks really good. The secret I have found is the light source. It needs to be behind the camera. That's what makes all the difference. Since I got the window here open, then the light source is exactly where it needs to be. Alright, let's start our week with our bad joke of the week. And here it is. I wrote a song about a tortilla. Actually, it's more of a rap. It's more of a rap. Oh, that's funny. Alright, look at our signposts here. Module 5. We got our continuation of textual analysis. As you can see, your stereotyping essay is due Sunday, which will be the 24th. Additionally, we have our next essay, the literary analysis essay, and the outline. As you'll see, the outline for that is due Tuesday, the 26th, so that is next Tuesday. So those are the signposts for this week. Let's take a look at our Canvas page. All right. First thing that we have, in conjunction with the textual analysis work that we started last time, we will be continuing. Now, when we were kids and we would read storybooks, picture books, a lot of it would just go over our heads because we were kids. This is an opportunity to revisit with this newfound thinking, with this new understanding of textual analysis, and knowing how to move from denotative to connotative details, to thus reach a larger understanding of the deeper takeaway. So the task for this discussion board in this week, number 1, select a picture book to work with. Personally, I'm a fan of like Dr. Seuss and Shel Silverstein, but if you ever had a favorite picture book, this is an opportunity to revisit it. So obviously you need to get a hold of it. Go to the library. I recommend go to the library, check out a picture book. If you don't have access to a physical picture book, then you can have a video, look at a video of somebody reading the picture book, or get it as PDF. But honestly, I think the most fun way is just to get a picture book. Just go to the library, check out a picture book, one that you like. Maybe you'll see one that you always loved as a kid, and now's the chance to revisit it. So ultimately, the opportunity here is to conduct a textual analysis on the picture book, where you're moving from denotative to a connotative understanding of it. Essentially, this is your main task here. What's the larger takeaway / theme / message of your picture book? So remember, with a thesis, you want to introduce the topic first of all, yeah? So let's pretend that you have a picture book that has a deeper message of never giving up. It's important to never give up. Or maybe it has the message of the importance of always fighting for your dreams, whatever the case may be. So let's say that's the topic of never giving up and always fighting for your dreams. Then of course you'll want to introduce that topic first of all. After you do that, then you want to make it clear that your picture book presents that message of never giving up and always fighting for your dreams. And you want to also answer how your picture book reflects this. So does it do it somehow through the plot? Maybe there's a conflict where the protagonist really wants something and they indeed end up working for it, and the resolution is that they get it. Maybe it's through the plot, or maybe it's through some form of symbolism. What's cool about picture books is that it's a marriage between illustrations and the writer and the plot itself and the way it's written, right? So I think that's why it's awesome to revisit. So maybe you're seeing something like in the colors. Maybe if it's for saying never give up, always fight for your dreams. Maybe when the protagonist is really in like a focused state of mind, maybe the colors behind him go blue. Maybe there's like a blue truck, blue wall behind him. I don't know, whatever it is that you notice. So you want to say first of all, introduce the topic of what's the larger takeaway if it's never giving up, always fighting for your dreams, and then say that your picture book presents that, and then how does it do it. So that's up to you to unearth, which is where you'll pay attention to those denotative details that you noticed and their connotations, which are their indirect suggestions, right? What do they mean, if they connect to real life, if at all, which is what comes here. How does that larger message connect to real life? And then, why is this larger message important? It's the implications. It's the so what of this. And that's a very important step. So, with this one, you can either write out your analysis or use my favorite, which is the media option. Just a little reminder. In order to do that, you just go there and you go to insert and you go to media, upload, record media, and oh, that's not the right one. Sorry about that. Media. It should work. I know what we have to do. We have to move this tab here, go to record, and there it is. Okay, so first of all, for extra credit, if you read us your picture book, yay, story time. If you read us your picture book, that'll be an additional 10 extra credit points. So I recommend you do it. Why not? So read the picture book for the extra credit points. If not, you can go straight into the analysis. You can type it out or use the media, which is my favorite. And you're going to break down essentially what you found, like what's the larger takeaway, the larger message of your book. And how do you know this? How does the book reflect this larger message? It's up to you to let us know. Does that larger message connect to real life? And why is that larger message important? And that's the so what question. You're going to answer that. What I have here, I've included these charts just to help you out, just as a little reminder. So remember that with denotation, they are simply details where you have not placed any further thought into it. You have not considered indirect suggestions. You have not considered any connections to real life. You have not done any deeper level thinking. It's just the surface level things, which those are the plot point, things like plot points, the setting, the characters, the illustrations, things that you see like symbols, figurative language. But then here, it's more deeper level thinking, connotation, right? So meaning of symbols, or perhaps you see like a rhyme scheme. I know Dr. Seuss does it a lot, Shel Silverstein too. Maybe in the story when something rhymes a lot, that's like a way for the writer to really reinforce an important point that they want you to take away. Also, your unpacking of a theme, that's connotation. Your unearthing of what's the overall message, your connections to real life, you're addressing the implication. So that's a little chart there. Oh, I don't know why it's doing that. Sorry, guys. Having a little bit of flashing here, but don't know what to do about it. Sorry about that. Okay, so that is that. I want you to do this. Remember to also reply to at least one classmate's post. All right. And most importantly, have fun with this. I love story time, honestly. All right, and choose a book you like. I think that's an important thing. We're continuing our work with textual analysis. All right, let's go to the next one, which actually, the reason we're doing this is because, surprise, surprise, this is actually our next essay, literary analysis essay. Exactly this work of textual analysis with that same task of unpacking what its deeper message is, just how your chosen story reveals that deeper message, how it connects to real life and why it matters. That's your task anyway. So this is what it is. Let's take a look at the prompt here. I believe that, I know it's a little bit distracting for why it's flashing. I must be some, I don't know, some memory thing, I'm not sure. But anyways, perfect. All right, I strongly believe that, I know, life throws curveballs our way and we have to have an attitude of adapting rather than just, staying in the mire, staying in the problem. You got to find a solution, okay? All right, so this is our essay, literary analysis essay. Here we have Charlie Brown and Snoopy reading. So check this out. Through our look at textual analysis, we've seen that works carry with them their own connotations. Now's your chance to flex that gray matter and conduct a textual analysis of your own. So your task is to write an essay that examines a text from our Norton Intro to Literature book. When we say examine, I want you to analyze it. You'll notice here that I include the link once more for our book. Here's the PDF. So you can choose any story that you like. And essentially, it's just what you're doing in the discussion board with the picture book, right? Which is what you did with the Sneetches one anyway, too. So I want you to look at this. What's the larger takeaway / theme message of your artifact? In this case, of your text, right? Of the story that you chose. How does your text reflect this? So it's the same thing: connections to real life, etc. And so what? Why is this larger message important? Essentially, you're doing what it is that we've been doing through our textual analysis lesson. Same thing that you'll be doing with the picture book discussion board is exactly what I want you to do with any text that you select from our Norton book. And here's some guiding questions. So remember, in our textual analysis lecture, we learned that figures and characters represent ideas and values. So by virtue of who the protagonist is, then of course, whatever values and ideas that protagonist represents, then so too the story is glorifying, is celebrating those ideas and values. In the same way, who's the antagonist or the bad guy, then whatever values they represent, then those are the ones that the story is vilifying, right? So like this is just some thinking to help you arrive at that conclusion of what's the larger takeaway. Maybe this larger message, does it affect a particular group directly? I don't know. You tell me. But here's a big thing. So in fiction, the way that a conflict is resolved, ultimately the resolution of a piece of fiction, is an important place because that is what you as a reader, you as a viewer are left with, right? That's the ultimate takeaway. You're just left with that, right? So pay attention to how the story ends, and what message does this ending ultimately leave you with? How does it connect to real life, if at all? And so what? Why is this message important? So yeah, pay attention to that. These are just guiding questions to help your thinking, but mainly this is the primary task. Find the larger message. How does your text reflect that larger message? How does that connect to real life, if at all? And why is that larger message important? So here's the trap that you want to avoid. There's a big trap, and that is you don't just want to summarize. Here's everything that happens in the story. No, your focus is here's the larger message, here's a larger takeaway from the story. And when you say how it reflects it, I don't know, is it through symbol? Is it through the symbols that you see? Is it through something in the plot? Is it through maybe the dynamic between characters? I don't know, you tell me. So at least 3.5 double-spaced pages, have a works-cited page, obviously. Same thing with points, like last time, 100 points is the essay. We'll do a peer review workshop, that's 20, correct MLA, works-cited, 5 points. Brainstorm is due next Tuesday, the 26th of April. The workshop, we'll be workshopping this also next week, so you'll be posting your rough draft by Thursday, April 28th. The final draft will be due May 11, would you believe it? Our fast track is wrapping up just like that. And will you look at that? The blinking stopped. I don't know why, but I'm grateful for it. The blinking stopped. All right. So that is our paper, essentially. Choose a new story. Oh my goodness, what was that? That was a loud sneeze from a neighbor. Or just yelling, I don't know. But anyways, so that is our task. It's essentially a textual analysis, which is what we've been doing in our lesson last week, and which you'll be doing in your picture book analysis. I think it's kids playing outside. All right, and here is the brainstorm. Let's take a look at that, since this will be due on Tuesday, right? Let's take a look at the worksheet here. So much like what we did with our much like what we did with the textual analysis lecture handout, and then you'll be following that. Up here, you're going to write your text title. What's the story called? Write it here. And you're going to have this chart. You're going to be able to fill in this chart. I've made it fillable for you with bullet points. So here's the thing. I want you to, as you're reading whatever story you choose, I want you to highlight, I want you to write marginal notes, and that includes things that stand out to you, things that catch your eye, maybe anything that reminds you of real life, whatever, just take notes. And you're going to write those details here on the denotation side, because remember, that's surface level meaning. And the deeper level meaning is the connotation, is where you consider the corresponding indirect suggestions of those details. So one thing to note is that what you have here on your T-chart does not necessarily have to be interrelated to create a more cogent motif, not necessarily. It's just off the cuff. It's a brainstorm is what it is spitfire ideas. But then when you hit this point here, which by the way, I do want you to have both some points here in the chart, have a substantial amount of points, more than 3 obviously. I want you to have a working thesis as well, which this is your main task. You're going to address what's the larger takeaway of your text, make it clear that it reflects it, right? How does your text reflect that? How does it connect to real life, if at all? And why is that larger message important? And I have this example here that does this. This is for like the Lorax by Dr. Seuss, so check it out. Check it out how it has these things that it's asking for, okay? In the story entitled The Lorax by Dr. Seuss, the writer forwards a perspective of eco-criticism. The story's larger message is that we should protect and conserve our environment. The story vilifies the idea of industry by way of the antagonist, who's known as the Onceler. Conversely, the ideal of nature conservation is celebrated as embodied by the story's protagonist, known as the Lorax. The story's message of the importance of protecting the environment connects to real life because there are a lot of industrial practices that harm our planet, such as burning fossil fuels and carry out deforestation in the name of progress. We need to push against these practices and instead demand that our planet's well-being be prioritized. This argument for protecting and conserving our environment is important because it ensures that we have an attitude of doing our best to preserve and take care of our planet's resources. Okay, look. So see how I did this? What is the larger takeaway? This is the larger takeaway. We should protect and conserve our environment. And then state that it reflects this larger message. I say here, in this story, The Lorax by Dr. Seuss, he forwards this, and this is the message. See? To link it, obviously. And then the other one is, how does the text reflect this? Well, it does so. I said it by way of, who's the protagonist? The protagonist is the Lorax. Okay. What is the protagonist, which is the Lorax? What values does he embody? He embodies the values of conservationism, protecting the environment. And then, okay, who's the antagonist? The antagonist is the Onceler. And the Onceler embodies industry and deforestation and profit over conservationism, right? So since by virtue of the fact that that's the antagonist, then that's what the story vilifies. So see, I said, what's the larger takeaway? Make it clear that the text reflects this. Answer how it reflects this. How does it connect to real life? And it's right here, right? It says it connects to real life because there are a lot of industrial practices that harm our planet, such as burning fossil fuels and carry out deforestation in the name of progress. So what do you see from the story that you see in real life? I said we need to push against these practices and instead demand that our planet's well-being be prioritized, okay? Obviously, you want to comment on it, yeah? And then, why does this matter? Why is this larger message important? This argument for protecting and conserving our environment is important because it ensures we have an attitude of doing our best to preserve and take care of our planet's resources. What I want you to see is that I am directly just answering the question. The larger message is this. It connects to real life in this way. So answer the question. And this argument is important because answer the question. It's really simple in that way. Okay. So make sure that you have both this brainstorm T-chart and the thesis in order to get full credit. All right, let me move this here. Oh, wrong button. My computer's been a little slow. Sorry about that, guys. All right, and here is the assignment link for your stereotyping essay that is due Sunday, right? Sunday the 24th. I'm sorry, guys, my computer is slowing down. I do apologize, but the assignment link is there, and that is the last thing for this week's module. Please let me know if you have any questions about either the picture book discussion board assignment or the essay itself or anything else. I'm always here to help with that. Wish you guys a lovely week. See you later.